Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle video. Today I'm going to be showcasing Venusaur in the Open Great League. As you're seeing from this first game, we have a Mantine, a Flyer versus Venusaur. However, Venusaur does not care about flying types in this meta. Mantine is part water, and even though it's super bulky, we just absolutely chunk it here. We do catch the move on Steelix, and we'll see what the opponent decides to come in with. Anyway guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're all having a great day. As I mentioned yesterday, I was basically struggling for the last couple of days with a toothache. So that's why I wasn't uploading as soon as the Great League came out here today. I do have a bit of a funny story about my whole dental experience in Japan. A lot of people think it's amazing living in Japan, which it is, but trying to sort of get things organized like dentists and doctors can be quite awkward if you're not a native speaker, and the processes here can be quite tricky. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but Venusaur versus Scrafty, pretty dominant matchup here. By the way, this is a team that was suggested to me by Hugo. Big shout out to Hugo, he's been using this team recently and it is quite good. I'm not a huge fan of Steelix and Dugong personally. I like Steelix, but I kinda hate Dugong, to be honest with you. Super bulky and of course annoying with the debuffs. But it's a good team because you're using Steelix to draw out any potential fighters. You look to come in and just sort of clean it up with Venusaur, and then you look to sweep with Dugong. Definitely a very strong team, and with the permanent debuffs you can do at the end, Dugong or Steelix at the end is super annoying for opponents. And of course, with Venusaur being a little bit on the glassier side, having these two Pokemon with debuffs available is quite nice. But yeah, we're just absolutely wrecking the Sandslash. Sandslash is such a cool Pokemon, bro. If they give this Pokemon a buff, I think it could be in for a good time. It's got Mudshot, I think Scorching Sands now. Or no, maybe not, I think it's still an Earthquake, but it has Night Slash. I think if you give it Scorching Sands, it might be in for some good play. You don't see the writing on the wall in top left. But yeah, like I was saying to you guys, I think in the last video, I had some sort of an issue with my wisdom tooth where it was coming through, and as it turns out, it actually kind of infected the next tooth. So I had a huge cavity in my tooth, and the funny thing about it was not like a very open cavity at the top, it was like a tiny little hole at the top with like a massive cavity in the inside, right next to my wisdom tooth. So that was obviously causing some issues, and like I said, being an English speaker in Japan, I do speak some Japanese. However, speaking about certain things around, medical histories and so on can be a little bit tricky, right? So not the easiest thing in the world to set up these types of appointments, but yesterday, I ended up going to a dentist. They basically done nothing. Literally, they just done nothing. He looked at my teeth and he's like, yeah, you need to go to a different place. You need to go to a different dentist. I went to the dentist for him to tell me, yeah, you need to go to a dentist, so that was great. What I got him to do was put like a temporary filling in my wisdom tooth. And then suddenly, like, my tooth next to my wisdom tooth became excruciatingly painful. It's probably the worst pain I've suffered in my life. It was pretty brutal. Basically, I think when I went to the dentist, he was kind of like poking around, and I think he irritated it. Because of course they like check all of your different teeth and stuff like that, and probably scraped something and caused a little bit of an issue. Man, it was an absolutely excruciating pain. By the way, this team that I'm facing, I was actually kind of surprised that I beat this team. I don't have Earthquake and Steelix, which you probably should have. I was using this in a different team, and it was a little bit better with Psychic Fangs because I had more coverage for Steel types. In this team, you should probably run Earthquake so you can have some coverage. Like, all of your Pokemon can hit Steel types perfectly fine, but we do manage to win that game anyway. Yeah, so I got back from that dentist, and I was like, okay, I'm chilling, like, the pain's kind of gone. And then the pain just got like 10 times worse, man. Literally, all day yesterday, I had to hold water in my mouth for the entire day. Basically there was like this little cavity, like I said, right? And that means the nerve is exposed at the bottom. So the only relief I could get, they gave me painkillers, didn't work. I was even drinking alcohol, didn't work. Like, nothing was working, salt water, nothing. So I was basically in this really tricky position where the only thing that would give me like any sort of relief was holding ice cold water in my mouth. If I didn't have that, I was in excruciating pain. Like, honestly, unbearable pain. Because it was, of course, right down to the nerve or whatever. So yeah, I ended up going to the second dentist of that day, just before they closed, and they done an x-ray and identified that it was the tooth next to my wisdom tooth that was causing the problem. They actually didn't work on it on that day. Like, I would have thought that, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have thought, like, if your patient's in excruciating pain, you would probably do like a temporary filling or something, but that was not the case. So basically for all of last night, I didn't sleep all night, basically. Like, I was up basically like sipping on water and like keeping it in my mouth, and then whenever the water in my mouth started getting warm, I had to spit it out. And you're probably thinking, like, why spit it out, why not just drink it? Bro, I drank like 6 liters of water yesterday. Literally the entire day I was just holding water in my mouth. Even when I was sleeping last night. Well, actually I didn't sleep a wink. I think I fell asleep for like 5-minute intervals and then woke up. Literally like I was sleeping with my head down, like leant over with like water in my mouth. And like I woke up a couple of times. Like, you know, like I dozed off for like 5 or 10 minutes and there was water spilling out of my mouth. It was so bad, bro. It was so bad. I was up the entire night. Ended up going to a dentist today at like 9 AM. Had to travel for like an hour this morning to a dentist, and then they basically done another x-ray because apparently that x-ray was not fine. So they done another x-ray, and yeah, they basically done a filling in my bad tooth. So there we go, we're back to normal. I came back home, ate a McDonald's for the first time in about 2 years, and yeah, because, you know, I want to eat something soft, right? But like, just completely got rid of the pain. The dentist was amazing. The third dentist I went to was amazing. And yeah, I basically slept through Vikavolt Community Day, and here I am recording this video. So super long intro, guys, but I thought I'd let you guys know that. If you ever need to get your wisdom tooth taken out, just get it taken out early. Don't let it get to this point. But we have Medicham versus Dugong, Drillrun coming through. I decided to go for damage here in this situation. Arguably I could have went for the debuff, but I think here what I decided to do is a smart play. They're going to just insta-throw the Psychic on Venusaur, which will force a shield. So we'll just come into Steelix. I mean, any move would be resisted here anyway, right? But we come into Steelix to absorb it, and then we can basically get a Dragon Tail ahead. Actually, I'm going to swap out instantly and come back into Diggersby. They're going to get off a move, that's perfectly fine. And I think what I've noticed with this Pokemon, guys, in general, it just core breaks so many teams. I found so many teams that were just triple weak to Venusaur. Like I'm seeing Medicham, Lantern, and Azu on the same team, or like just free Pokemon that cannot hit Venusaur very hard. That's kind of why I like the non-Shadow a little bit better. In a closing position, I think Shadow Venusaur is probably better, but non-Shadow in the lead I think is good. As you can see, the Slander's trying to spark us down, and that's where the non-Shadow is working out a little bit better. Good games well played. I went pretty positive with this team. Last night after midnight, while I was kind of delirious with pain, I played one match in the Psychic Cup, and then I done one match on the train this morning, using I think Pelipper, Reggie, and this. I won one of those matches, and then I think I won the other two with Venusaur, and then I had a couple of free 2s and 2 frees. I think I had 2 free 2s and a 2 free. So overall pretty positive, right? So like 2-1, free 2, and a 2 free. So yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this team. Like I said, it's not really my playstyle personally. I'd probably prefer to stick in like something more OP like Registeel, or, you know, pair it up with Diggersby. I've seen Photechnical actually pairing up Cresselia with Diggersby. So you could probably do like a Venusaur Cresselia backline with Diggersby in the lead. I'm just making that up, but it sounds like it could be quite strong. Yep, let's hop on the next match here. By the way, guys, I misplayed some of these matches deliberately just to show the power of Venusaur. I think I say in here you should just save swap straight out. I don't have an amazing answer to this. Like I was trying to catch the earliest because I thought they're not going to want to CMP me in the Frenzy plant. They do go straight for the dig. I'll let it go. That's perfectly fine. I go for good timing here. To try and make sure I can get off maybe 2 of these moves, but I think they're just going to let this go, and I think at this point, they actually swap out, which is pretty good for me. If they had stayed in and just got rid of that thing, could have been very tricky for me, because now we're getting to apply a debuff here. They can't take out the Steelix, of course, but we're going to maybe, okay, just single debuff them. Not really worth shielding to get off the next debuff, and we're going to come in back in with Venusaur here. This should just be going for Body Slams here. Of course, Crunch can get the debuff, but I think Body Slam does the same, if not more damage than Crunch from Greedent, but it is of course less energy, so go Body Slam if it's neutral. We just absolutely wreck it here. I come back in with Dugong. I'll eat this move here, and we'll hopefully be able to sweep something in the back. Dig coming through, does a nice little chunk, and in comes Lantern, guys. You know, their main answer to Grass was Gligar, and as you can see, like, Gligar takes a lot of damage from Venusaur. So this is going to be a pretty close game. I think, yeah, this is looking a little bit tough still. I might have to actually commit to a farm down here. I think that's my only win condition at this point. Just kind of pray and hope that Gligar doesn't get to a move. I don't want to eat this. Okay, that's just a Surf actually. So I probably could have just ate that. Does the opponent get to another move? Yeah, I probably should have ate the Surf here. But then they probably would have wing attacked me down. Yeah, I think that was just tough, man. You know, come to think of it, like, it was a super close game considering we lost lead, but yeah, Gligar was a bit of a core breaker for this team. That's what I kind of didn't like about it. You really just need a direct answer to Gligar, like a water or an ice. Otherwise, it's got amazing coverage, such a good Pokemon this season. I'm really happy that we have just a general talk about grass types. I'm really glad we've got like more coverage with grass this season, because Noctowl was basically just dominating the skies, Altaria as well, which just really made grass types completely pointless, because almost every team, like at least 50% or 75% of teams have a Noctowl or an Altaria, or even some sort of Aller Flyer. So like it just made grass types so tricky, and it made the game super RPS when you're getting your Trevenant lined up on a Noctowl. And yeah, you know, your Noctowl, you know, people are hunting for the Noctowl with Lantern. Like, it was just so RPS before. I think this season's Great League is a little bit better, and grass types are flourishing a lot more, I've noticed. Yesterday's video was Superior. Of course, funny enough, I uploaded that video, and it just so happened that a few other content creators had the same idea. I think Henry uploaded it, and maybe Yonkers uploaded it as well. I can't remember who else it was, but I think that goes to show that people are realizing that grass is a lot more free this season. The opponent's coming in with Talonflame, bit of a core breaker. I think the opponent makes a really weird play in this matchup right here. I'm in around 2300 elo. In the Psychic Cup, before I, you know, got sick or whatever, I was up to like 2400. Yeah, I was at 24-25. I thought it was going to make a nice early veteran push, but you guys know me, man. It's, you know, not my channel on this. It's a struggle to hit veteran, and struggle. Like, we have to struggle the whole way through the season. That's just how we roll around here. We get off Elastic and Frenzy Plant, which is kind of nice here, but it's still a little bit tricky. Yeah, we do take this out. In comes Talonflame, and the only way I can explain this, so I decided to go for the debuff here. I don't think this makes a difference at this point, but this was really weird. So the opponent here, they throw the Flame Charge. Now, I can understand this thinking. You don't want to debuff yourself, just in case I live that and then farm them down, right? And of course, like, I've debuffed their attack. So I think at this point, the opponent's pretty safe to go for a Brave Bird. But for some reason, I don't know why, the opponent goes for Flame Charge. They should have just went for Brave Bird. Now I can just commit to the farm down. Don't ask me how I won that match, but we take it nonetheless. So yeah, like I said, I'm around the 2300 elo range. So you might be seeing some potato plays here, but we should be getting veteran quite soon. And let me know, guys, are you going to be playing Vikavolt Community Day? I, luckily enough, woke up in time, so I came back home today. Went to sleep at like 1 PM, and woke up in time to like still evolve the Pokemon. I didn't catch any, but I still got some like top 100 Ultra League and Great League Vikavolts and Chargebugs, which I'm pretty happy with. Let me know if you guys are going to play the Community Day. I think that's a cool Pokemon for sure. So this is a really good matchup for Venusaur. Is this the one where I lose CMP? Okay, I think it is the one I lost CMP, and we do go for the catch and Steelix. Earlier on, I was staying in this matchup whenever they swapped into it, and whenever you see a Sableye lead, you can almost guarantee there's an Azu in the back. I've seen this team quite a lot with Azu and Reggie, which can be very tricky for this team, to be fair, especially because we're not using Earthquake. Steelix with the Psychic Fangs is better for Azu, but then it's just completely walled by Reggie. The good thing is you can debuff it into Oblivion and make it that Venusaur couldn't beat it, you know. But yeah, that's one of the tricky things I found. I definitely think I would like this team with Diggersby, but you guys know me, I'm just a big fan of Diggersby. I'll put Diggersby in any team and say I prefer it, but I decided not to eat the Ice Beam. Back in comes Sableye. I'm going to go for another catch because I know they win CMP. Honestly, that's the first time I've lost CMP to a Sableye. This must be a fairly bulky one. And yeah, in does come Registeel. So can we still win this here? The opponent's going to have to throw two moves no matter what. I decided to go straight for damage here. The opponent shields up the first one, which I don't think you ever shield up the first one from Dugong, to be honest, because it's very, very tempting to go for the Icy Wind Bait. But I guess the opponent just wanted to, you know, guarantee that we can't put them in Frenzy Plant range, so that's fair enough, I guess. That's coming through. I think if I debuff them, I don't think I live two moves anyway, so I think going straight damage is probably the best idea here. Yeah, back in comes Venusaur. I can farm up to 5 because I think they farmed up to 100 energy. So you can do 5 Vine Whips if they farm up to 100. That doesn't quite KO, unfortunately. If I had have got them KO'd, I think one more Vine Whip, if I'd have seen him paid, still wouldn't have KO'd, so it was just a very tricky team, to be fair. You know, if you don't get your Venusaur in the Azu, it's just a bit of a tricky Pokemon for this team. Dugong can deal with it, and Steelix can like debuff it into Oblivion, but especially if it's running Hydro Pump on your Steelix, it's pretty tough. Not a great matchup. So yeah, Venusaur versus Sandslash. This is not terrible, but of course we don't want to stay in here. What I decided to do is throw the Frenzy Plant straight away. I don't like swapping straight out, usually. Arguably you should, but I don't really like playing like that. I like to try and catch something, or like get an energy lead somewhere. I try to sort of play the match out a little bit. I don't like just insta-swapping, because I feel like that's just RPS. I try to catch the Ice Punch. The opponent is very patient and doesn't throw it, which is a good play by the opponent. and they go for a drill run, which doesn't do too much damage. They come into Azu, and again we're seeing a ton of Azus in the back. Venusaur is just looking to absolutely feast on these Azus. As I said yesterday, it's just going to come in and eat its ass. So the thing about Azu though, I don't know why, bro. I'm seeing a ton of Ice Beam Azus. It's probably because I'm running a Venusaur. That's how it goes sometimes. You run a Pokemon that's weak to Ice and you get Ice Beam on Azu. Pretty annoying. I prefer Play Rough and Hydro Pump. I think it's a much better moveset. But as you can see, like, this is not too bad for Dugong. We're just chunking it down. And like, I could have went for a couple of debuffs or whatever. Yeah, I go for an aggro swap here because I don't want to get farmed the whole way down. I'm just hoping they don't have Ice Beam. They're just on Play Rough, which is good. And they come in with Frostlass. The Play Rough, even though resisted, is chunked us into a range where Frost can maybe farm us down. They do shield up the Frenzy Plant, we don't get off the next one. So yeah, this is just looking very, very tough here. I think my only win con is probably to go for a catch at this point. Steelix is going to come through here. Yeah, the opponent's going to go for Shadow Ball. I think I do shield up the first one because it'll do the most damage, which makes the most sense, I think. We're after one for good timing. But I think we definitely need to catch a move here. I believe the opponent's 4 off the move here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think maybe I was a little bit early with the catch, and then I just instantly top left whenever I don't successfully make the catch. So you're sort of seeing both sides of it here. Venusaur is an amazing lead a lot of the time. You're picking up stuff like Medicham, Deoxys, right? But then in the back, if you have an Azu in the back, if this is your main answer, it can be a little bit tricky if you don't get your Venusaur lined up on that. And if the Azu gets an overfarm, which they oftentimes can, it can put your Venusaur in a very tough spot when it comes back in, and maybe even force to shield a move. Because even though Azu doesn't hit hard, Venusaur is not the bulkiest Pokemon. The opponent goes for an Ice Punch, then they go for a catch. We come straight into Dugong, and this thing just absolutely walls Golbat. It doesn't wall it because you can still get hit by the Poison Fangs and the Shadow Ball. I'm surprised it didn't go straight for damage there in that situation, because I feel like if they just damage me more, they can farm me down easier with Medicham. Maybe not though, we'll see how it works out. I think people do love going for debuffs. That's kind of why I don't like using Dugong, because I feel like I'm very tempted to go for debuffs a lot. The opponent still throws a move anyway, which is perfect for me, honestly. They should have just farmed me the whole way down, because that doesn't KO. And even with the debuff, like, Dugong is super, super fake. And we're going to apply the debuff, which will get the opponent quite low, and put them in a position where I think I actually come in with Steelix here, because I was expecting the insta-swap, and we go for a Breaking Swipe on the Noctowl. I think if you're through that off in bad timing, I think if you're going for a debuff, throwing in bad timing is probably more valuable than the fast move, if that makes sense. I think that is one of those situations where not throwing in good timing is actually beneficial, because if you have to eat a higher damage Shadow Ball, I don't think that benefits you. Right here, I go for Psychic Fangs. I think I should just go straight Breaking Swipe, because it'll allow me to eat these moves a little bit easier. And it's not going to really allow me to farm it down. Like, I thought I'd be able to farm it down, but I realized afterwards, yeah, they're going to get to another Shadow Ball if I allow them to. So I'll just go ahead for this Breaking Swipe off. At this point, guys, we've got Medicham on this. I make a huge misplay here trying to get off the Breaking Swipe. And at this point, the opponent will get to back-to-back Ice Punches. However, Venusaur, it can eat an Ice Punch. In this Medicham matchup, you do need to go for Psychic. Let me see. 1, 2. The opponent would have got to the Psychic, so bit of a misplay by the opponent and misplay by me as well. But good games nonetheless. So that's Venusaur, guys. I didn't play my best games today, but, you know, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's my 2 free. Venusaur, definitely a very good core breaker, and I found so many teams that were just triple weak to it. So definitely worth a try. I think I'd prefer Venusaur double steel generally, so something like Registeel. You can go Steelix. I just don't think it works with Venusaur, to be honest with you. I think Dugong is actually a good option with Venusaur, because they cover their weaknesses very well. I don't know, Steelix is a little bit awkward for me. I'd prefer to have Reggie, because it gives you a little bit more play against things like Medicham, Lantern, Sableye, Azumarill, you know, so at least you have 2 answers to Azumarill. I think that's kind of a nice thing. You could go for Stunfisk and Reggie, but I think even Sandslash and Reggie would probably work quite fine. But generally speaking, guys, Venusaur is just core breaking teams, and I think it's well worth a try. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to check out Superior, I uploaded it yesterday. And apart from that, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for a brand new video.